Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. Yes, it is indeed Google MF Michael Fletcher. I'm back, y'all. I had to take some time away. Work commitments beyond my control, especially during the holidays. It's a little more difficult, especially in my line of work than anything else. But I got to give a lot of props to Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock for holding down the fort while I was away. And we're back. So we really got nothing more to add. We do got um NXT that was done on. This was actually a tape show, so we're gonna just do a. We're gonna give a quick thought about it. We're not gonna go full detail. We're not gonna go deep into it. We just might even do a factor where we might even just run it quick, give you the quick results, and then we're just gonna move on to SmackDown Live because SmackDown Live was 3 hours live, and we got a lot to talk about on that part. So let's start out with the first thing. It was Kalani Jordan going one-on-one with Lola Vice, and it was Kalani Jordan winning the match in 8 minutes and 54 seconds. Fine match, a little bit of some chaos at the end where Cora Jade hit the ring, attacking both women. Stephanie Porter came out to try to stop the thing, and then all of a sudden, basically Lola Vice was sizing up to hit Cora Jade with that spinning back fist, and she dunked Stephanie Porter. Oh no! She went down in a heap, and oh man, Stephanie and Lola trying to basically Lola's trying to tell Stephanie, "Oh, that was not meant for you. That was meant for Cora Jade. I would never ever do that to you. That was my bad. I messed up. I made a mistake." Stephanie about Cora was really kind of like, I don't believe you. I know you enough, Lola. I think you deliberately ducked me for that. And Kalani Jordan, like, well, you got what you deserve. And yeah, Stephanie was not having that. He shoved Kalani. It looked like a fight almost broke out. And Cora Jade's just sitting on the side and just admiring her work over the chaos. Well, Ava came out and basically like, well, we got a little situation. I want a new number one contender for Fallon Henley for the Women's North American title. So when we get back, which is New Year's Evil, we're going to do a fatal four-way. And the winner of that match will be the number one contender for Fallon Henley's Women's North American title. Who it is, you're going to ask, in that fatal four-way? Cora Jade, Kalani Jordan, Lola Vice, Stephanie Valcour. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, on a night lacking for big time matches, Kalani Jordan and Lola Vice got the necessary time to deliver a quality performance, complete with interesting teases for where both women could go in the new year. Kalani Jordan needed this rebound win as she enters 2025 as a potential NXT main event star awaiting her next opportunity. The finish was messier than needed, but it left interesting questions for all involved in the aftermath. Cora Jade has created multiple interesting rivals. While Kalani Jordan has hinted at a possible heel turn in the last month, it was actually Lola Vice that was placed in the possible heel role throughout this bout. The women's division could use more heel representation, especially once Julia maybe wins the NXT Women's Championship on Tuesday night. Lola Vice might rise higher by returning to a heel role in 2025. So that's really all I can say on that. And after Cora Jade watched Stephanie Valcour, Kalani Jordan, and Lola Vice argue, Ava told Cora that she would face all three next week in that fatal four-way Women's North American Championship opportunity. So high stakes in that one. The winner of that match will be the next challenger for Fallon Henley and the North American Championship, the Women's North American Championship. And I'm going out on a limb right now. I'm going with Stephanie Vacour to win that match. So I think
I need to ask you a question though.
Yes.
I remember, I don't know what it was, I don't know if it was Michael Bullock that mentioned it or you that mentioned it. But I remember you said that there was a certain titles felt beneath certain individuals. Would you consider the NXT North American Championship kind of beneath Kalani? Or not Kalani.
Stephanie Vacour.
Stephanie Vacour. If she wins that title match. If she wins that match. Don't you think that maybe she should be more worthy for the
NXT Women's
NXT title? Yeah.
I think they're saving that for down the line. Because I'm going out on a limb once again. I'm going to make another bold prediction, although it's really not so bold. I think Julia is going to win that NXT Women's Championship on Tuesday night. I think she's going to end Roxanne's reign. And I have not read any dirt sheets. This is just coming from me personally. This is all me here. I believe they might want to do, I could possibly see Julia versus Stephanie Vacour for that NXT Women's Championship at Stand and Deliver in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that happening.
It's possible. I actually thought triple threat because I think Zarya will also get involved. I think what they might do is, and I think you're right, Anthony. I think you're on the right path. I think we could see Stephanie Vacour versus Julia for the NXT Women's title, but I also think Zarya will also be added. I think we might get a triple threat for that belt, and if it is, I mean, all bets are off because you're talking about the three biggest names, the three biggest signings that NXT did, and to have them showcase at the biggest event for NXT Stand and Deliver on WrestleMania weekend, I can definitely see it. I think your logic is not it's not foolhardy. I'll say that. You're definitely within the range.
And I also feel that Fallon Henley needs a fresh challenger. I mean, we've already seen her and Kalani Jordan go at it. And the other
I don't think we've never seen her and Lola. I think that would be a fresh matchup.
Lola could win it. I could certainly see Lola winning it. And
I kind of think Lola should be the one. No disrespect to Stephanie. No disrespect to Stephanie Vacour. No disrespect. You know I love this baby girl.
I know you do.
Huh?
I know you do.
You know I love this one. Ever since she debuted, forget it, man. I was knocked. This was like I got knocked in the head in the coconut, and I'm seeing stars right now. And that beautiful face, that beautiful thing, damn. That's all I'm saying. Just damn. Anyway.
Yeah.
I would say Lola's more worthy of the North American title situation because I believe she deserves an opportunity. I felt like she had a breakout year in 2023, in 24, and I think it's time that Lola gets the moment. I could see her as the North American champion more than Stephanie Vacour. I'll say that.
It's one of those two.
Yes.
It's definitely going to be one of those two. But you made a great point just now. So yeah. The only reason why I said Stephanie is because, maybe they want to give her something to do and hold it for a little bit. And then you could set up that possible three-way match with Zarya, Julia, and Vacour for that women's championship at Stand and Deliver. And if that is the plan, if that indeed happens, we're easily looking at the biggest women's match in NXT history. Easy.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
And there have been a lot of great ones.
All right.
And if that happens, and before we move on, one last quick thought that just popped into my head here.
Sure.
If we do get that 3-way, I could see it giving Sasha and Bayley from Brooklyn in 2015 a run for its money as the greatest women's match in NXT history.
I agree with that. Now, here's the thing I would ask. Would Shawn Michaels and the crew make that match the main event of Stand and Deliver?
Depends on who has the NXT championship. I mean, I would love to see it. I mean,
yeah,
the women deserve a major main event opportunity on a premium live event, most definitely.
Because if you remember, the last time we've had a women's main event at a WrestleMania, now excluding the 2-night, because I'm not counting these 2-night WrestleManias. That's not why I'm counting it.
Right.
But a 1 day, 1 night, pure main event match of WrestleMania weekend. The last time was WrestleMania 35, when it was Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, winner take all, to unify both the Raw and SmackDown women's titles. That was the main event of WrestleMania. That's the last time we've ever had women legit main event at an event. Now, yes, you can say, well, wait a minute, Mike, what about Sasha and Bianca? Again, I'm not counting 2-night WrestleMania events. I'm not counting it. I'm counting 1 night, 1 day, 1 major event. That's where I'm going. So obviously we had Bianca and Sasha main event the first night of WrestleMania. I think it was 37.
Yeah.
In Tampa. Yeah, in Tampa.
COVID Mania 2.
COVID Mania
2, as I call it.
Yeah. COVID Mania 2, but we did have the crowd. Yes, it was limited, but we had 25,000 in that stadium that night. So it technically did count.
Both nights.
So, yes, we did have that. So, you can say whatever you want to say, but I believe it would be a main event match. Okay, let's move on. We got a lot to talk about. We had Ethan Page versus Cedric Alexander. Ethan Page winning in 426. We move right on along. Then we had a triple threat tag team match, 3-way dance. Gigi Dolan and Shotzi Blackheart, Clayton Carter and Katana Chance, In Lash legend and Jakara Jackson. And it was Jakara Jackson and Lash legend winning the match in 11 minutes and 24 seconds. And after the match was over, 2 of Anthony's personal favorites, Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, showed up on the big screen. And Anthony, it seems like Jakara and Lash, looks like that rivalry is not over by a long shot.
By the way, I forgot to mention, on that match with Kalani Jordan and Lola Vice, that was 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star for that.
Agreed.
And you said it was what, 11:24?
11:24, yes.
That's about 3 1/4, 3.5 for me. The mix of main roster and NXT talent involved here sold this as more of a women's tag team division match than a pure developmental brand clash. With how much the main roster has struggled to book tag teams like your girls, Katana Chance and Kaden Carter MF, as well as my girls, the Unholy Union, a longer NXT run might do good for some of these teams. This NXT crowd was completely behind Chance and Carter in a way that has not translated to the main roster. And that's a damn shame, too. The two also looked a bit rusty in this action, growing more confident later in the action. The rustiest performer, though, if I got to be honest, it was Shotzi. Hopefully she is all right after a rough landing. It may be best for the future that Shotzi and Gigi Dolan take that double team dive out of their playbook. So this was 3.25, teetering on 3.5 stars. One of the fights of the night for sure. And big win for Jakara Jackson and Last Legend. We'll see what that leads to, as we are now in the new year. And of course, our girls, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Of course, MF more of the Alba Fire, and me with Isla Dawn, of course. And because of KLR and her history. So that's why Alba Fire is more of MF's cup of tea there. But anyways, like I said, 3.25, 3.5 stars, excellent match and great showcase. And MF, I know it made you. I know how happy you must have felt seeing your girls, Chance and Carter, back in action.
Yeah, like you said, it's been a rough ride for the two ladies, either through injuries or just not connecting with the fans. They did have a little run with the tag titles, but it never really translated up to this point. So yeah, but it's good to have them back on NXT, refine their skills. That crowd loves them. They were major over with the Full Sail crowd. So maybe that might be what they need to do. Just let them go back, let them rework themselves, whatever they need to do. And yes, that Shotzi spot. Oh my God, did I cringe? I had to look away because I'm like, oh no. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Any suicide dive or any type of maneuver with Shotzi, you kind of have to you pray that she's not going to get hurt because that was such a bad landing, and I thought she broke her neck. Like, honest to God, I thought she broke her neck when that happened. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? But yeah, really nothing more to add on that one. Anthony got it with the 2.5 to 3. So next up we did have on the fight card was Sol Ruka versus Izzy Dane. Sol Ruka, no, it was actually Izzy Dane winning the match in 4 minutes and 58 seconds. Big win for her, more than anything else. And we'll just move right on along. Next up after that, we had Hank Ledger, Tank Ledger, Hank Walker, and Andre Chase. They went up against Wesley, Tyreek Igwe, and Tyson DuPont. And it was Wesley's crew winning the match in roughly 12 minutes. Look, I don't know what it is, man. That was just a rough match more than anything else. It was a good match, solid fight. But my heart breaks for Andre Chase, man. He's in a funk right now, man. You can tell he's in a funk. As with everything that happened, basically losing the Chase University, you can tell he's just not himself, man. And hopefully they'll turn it around and everything else in the new year. But I got nothing more to say. So, Anthony, it's yours, man. This was a solid 3.5 star bout.
Yeah, another 3.25, 3.5 for me. I gotta tell you, this is an interesting alliance that should finally get Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igwe moving in NXT. Wes Lee needed some help after taking some tough losses as well. Hank and Tank remain a strong tag team that could afford to take this loss. They will rebound and have a high likelihood of capturing tag team gold in 2025. Andre Chase's involvement made perfect sense, even if NXT has not followed up well on Chase U's end since his last appearance. It is about time fans hear from not just Chase, but Duke Hudson, Thea Hale, and Riley Osborne again. So this was about 3.25 to 3.5 stars. And I do believe we move on to I think that was the main event for the in-ring for action matches. I believe we closed out with another in-ring segment. So this was another 3.25, 3.5 for me. So MF, what says you? we move on to our main event segment.
Yes, indeed. The main event segment led us to basically it was basically the last little thing between Obafemi, of course Trick Williams, and of course the Eddie Thorpe. And well, I gotta say, fine segment, fine everything that they had to do. I thought they did a good job with this. So nothing more to say, Anthony. Um, of course, NXT was handing out their awards more than anything else. But, the thing is, everybody's destined for one thing. New Year's Evil on Tuesday night. The NXT Championship on the line in that triple threat. It's going to be something else on the CW.
Yes, indeed, Monsoon. You're absolutely right about that. Or as Gorilla would have said, you got that right. But anyways, this was a fine closer to sell that anything could happen next week in the triple threat match for the NXT Championship, though it added a little more to the hype for the match. The NXT Championship match for New Year's Evil has gotten all the airtime in December, which is a shame, as the NXT Women's Championship match between Roxanne Perez and Julia could have used more spotlight as far as I'm concerned. Still, the hype is strong for New Year's Evil, presenting as stacked a card as NXT can deliver without needing main roster support. And you talked about the awards. Believe it or not, Obafemi was actually voted the male superstar of the year. I mean, little surprising. I would have thought Trick Williams would have won that. Female superstar of the year, that was Roxanne Perez. No surprise.
No big surprise. Yep.
Tag team was Fraxium, Nathan Frazier and Axiom. Absolutely. The match of the year was Obafemi versus Josh Briggs, and I can't remember who the other guy was in that triple threat match from, I think it was Stand and Deliver. That was voted match of the year. And the moment of the year was when Joe Henry surprisingly showed up in NXT. For me, the moment of the year in NXT was when Trick Williams won the championship the first time, when he beat Ilya Dragunov. That was the moment of the year for me. But as much as I love Joe Henry, and I love Joe Henry, so. But anyways, that's really all I can say on the closing segment. So I believe that would set me up to start off the overall review of this taped edition of NXT that aired on New Year's Eve. They taped it on December the 19th. So, anyways, NXT is waiting for New Year's Evil to get back into rhythm. And that was obvious in the last two shows of the year for the Silver and Black brand. Tuesday's show featured only a few matches and none that will be long remembered. Outside of Ethan Page's continued heel destruction and the growing Women's North American Championship scene highlighted in the opener, it was a missable/skippable show. The NXT year-end awards were an afterthought, including a messy scene that, before X clarified it, left no definitive answer for male superstar of the year on air, but it was announced on X that Obafemi was the male superstar of the year. There is enough talent in NXT that the brand could have done much more, but New Year's Evil should more than draw fans back into the product in 2025 at the Shrine Auditorium. So not much really more to say on that. So I would have to give this show in excess of maybe 6.5. So if anybody out there had like the big plans on New Year's Eve, you didn't really miss anything. Outside of a couple things. So 6.5 for me. MF, your thoughts, and then we'll get into what ended up being a history-making first 3-hour episode of Friday Night SmackDown.
Yeah. No, they did pretty good. I thought this was a fine show. Like you said, 3 and 6.5 was the show. And there's really nothing more to add. So here we go. We started off 3-hour SmackDown Live. Yes, it was live. Phoenix, Arizona was the site on USA. And we started off as this was episode 1323 of its illustrious career. And yes, it was from Phoenix, Arizona at the Footprint Center, which is the home of the NBA Phoenix Suns and the WNBA Phoenix Mercury. We started off with Cody Rhodes, hyping up a lot of Cody Rhodes making his way, was interrupted, believe it or not, by Drew McIntyre. McIntyre on SmackDown. Now there is a transfer window. What's going on? So he comes out and he hugs Cody and says, "You know what, man? I'm not here for anything. I'm just here to protect you, to know what's going on." And Cody's, and he basically is like, "You know what? You're about to screw up your life. You're about to make the worst mistake of your career by getting goaded by Kevin Owens into what could be a major downfall for you." And they are talking, and even he's saying that, when you were away, Kevin Owens was parading around like he's the heavyweight champion of the world. Remember, he has possession of the classic, legendary World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Championship, the Wing Eagle belt. That is basically, that's Anthony childhood. That's my childhood. If Michael Bullock was here, we would say that is his childhood. That was the championship belt we all grew up idolizing, watching, seeing. And Kevin Owens is running around with that belt. He's running around with that title right now in his possession. And Cody's like, "Look, we all do respect, and I got the utmost respect for you, but I know you. And I know the minute and I know you're not here for anybody but yourself. And I know you're not afraid to stab me in the back for whatever you want, for your own personal gain." So he was like, "Okay, don't say I warned you." Well, guess what? That warning did come with an asterisk, because here comes Kevin Owens to jump him. A big fight breaks out, whole 9 yards to start the show. Ooh, Anthony Florio. Drew McIntyre came out. And the next thing we know, all hell broke loose.
Yeah, and I do have some, I'm going to break out an old favorite term of ours, some inside information regarding Drew McIntyre.
Go right ahead.
Well, according to a rumor dirt sheet that I check, I read every day. According to PW Insider, the word making the rounds among WWE talents lately is that Drew McIntyre will move from Raw to SmackDown.
Oh,
and PW Insider, reliable source. Last time I checked,
whenever there is legitimately certain individuals that if you hear from them, you can almost take money into the bank. Sean Ross Sapp, PW Insider, for me, Walk Culture or Wrestle Talk News. If you hear from them, they're pretty credible, to say the very least. Yes.
Yep, and a little bit later on, I have another one. There's another superstar that could be moving from Raw to SmackDown. Another big name. So you might be getting another big name in addition to the Scottish Psychopath. So I'll let you know about that when the time is right.
Okay.
As far as opening segments go, this was decent, but nothing we haven't seen before. Cody Rhodes talked for a while. His feud was addressed, and Kevin Owens threw a few shots. It was business as usual. Cody Rhodes is good at carrying a segment like this, but he didn't have a lot to do here because their match is still literally a month away. and all they could do was fill some time. McIntyre did get a nice pop, and you could tell the crowd was surprised to see him. And opening with a talking segment is fine, but it feels like this one took up twice as much time as it needed. That's just me. So, not much more to say. Let's get into our first match of the night.
Well, you also got to you also got to remember that now it's 3 hours, so you kind of have to expand everything now. So it's not just like, oh, we got 2 hours, so we got to rush. No, now that it's 3 hours, now we can let some things breathe a little more. If you want to do a longer segment, we can do longer segments now. Yes, I get it, and you're absolutely right, Anthony. This felt a little too long, but we gotta figure it out. We're not, because this is not like Monday Night Raw, because we're so used to Raw going 3 hours. This is uncharted water for the Blue Brand. This is uncharted water for my boys on SmackDown. So we gotta figure it out. We gotta figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll get there.
It's the first time ever, and it's the first ever 3 hour show. Big accomplishment for you guys. And when we're talking about the in-ring action, the wrestling matches, you couldn't have asked for a better match to start it off than with a pure good old MF Michael Fletcher special right here.
Oh yeah, United States Heavyweight Champion Shinsuke Nakamura going 1-on-1 with Andrade, non-title match, winner of the bout in 9 minutes and 15 seconds. The United States Heavyweight Champion, Shinsuke Nakamura. But after the match was over, LA Knight showed up, and Nakamura, LA Knight's back, and he's going after, and he wants to get his belt back. So, Floria, what's yours?
And that match will happen next Friday night on SmackDown from the Moda Center in Portland, Oregon, the home of the Portland Trailblazers. LA Knight will invoke his rematch clause from Survivor Series. So we will have it next week. LA Knight, Shinsuke Nakamura for the United States Heavyweight Championship. That's confirmed for next week. Okay. Fresh off an appearance at Pro Wrestling Noah a couple of days ago. I'm sure you heard about that, MF.
Yes, I did. Yep, New Year's Day.
Shinsuke Nakamura was back in the WWE ring to take on Andrade in a non-title bout. To the surprise of absolutely nobody, these two put on a great show. Andrade and Nakamura know each other well and have been able to give us great performances every time they have crossed paths for years. Andrade looked more focused than he has in quite some time. But Nakamura is in his Sith era. Defeating him when he is willing to cheat so easily is supposed to be a challenge, and he did a great job making it look that way. And Nakamura's new theme is so simple and so effective. It's a great remix of his old song. And it was surprising to see a blue mat instead of the usual white mat. And the Prime logo was also missing. And the sound when Andrade hit the ring post was absolute nuts. And Shinsuke's entrance, though, Nakamura's entrance, is the most spine-chilling entrance outside of The Undertaker, honestly. So, solid 3 stars for me, and apparently they don't have any U.S. title plans for Andrade down the line. So LA Knight, he will invoke the rematch clause after losing it to Nakamura at Survivor Series. So we'll have that rematch next Friday night in Portland, MF. So
yeah,
solid 3 stars for me. So your thoughts? These are 2 of your favorites. These are 2 of your boys right here.
Yeah, solid 3, and yeah, absolutely. I love Andrade. I love Nakamura. I've been following both their careers for a long time. Of course, Nakamura from the days of New Japan Pro Wrestling, where he really was an international superstar. Many people actually considered him the best wrestler in the world at the time, about 10 years ago. I should say 7 to 8 years ago. Nakamura was actually the best wrestler in the world. And he was actually main eventing, obviously, because it was January 4, we all know about Wrestle Kingdom that went down earlier this morning. And there's another event, Wrestle Dynasty, that's going down in just a few hours right now live on January 5th. That's also another big Tokyo Dome show that's about to go down. I think it starts at 3 a.m. So it's about less than 4 hours from now, live from the Tokyo Dome. And what really made Nakamura so unique was his style. And yes, it has been watered down a little bit because of being in WWE, but he still has that strong style attitude and everything else. And of course, with Andrade, starting out in CMLL, AAA as La Sangra, that realm of wrestling where he was really a name for himself in Mexico, but he really made a name for himself along with Zelina Vega in NXT. That is when Andrade really took off. It was his run in NXT. Once he teamed up with Zelina Vega, it was magic. It was like a chef's kiss, and the rest was history on that. Now we got to see how it plays out. Yeah, great matchup for this. 3 stars. We move on. Next up we did have was Piper Niven and Michin. Michin winning the match, 7 minutes, 25 seconds. It was an okay fight. Fine match, about 2 stars. But it does give Michin an opening for her to go back after Chelsea Green for the Women's United States Championship. So, yeah, they did pretty well. And Michael Cole, okay, bro, what was that? What were you doing? Is all I can say. Ah, wow. Wow, Michael. Yeah. I really got nothing more to say about that. Anthony Floyo, it was a 2 to 2.5 star bout. It's yours, bro.
This match played out as expected. Michin used her ability to keep the powerhouse on her toes, while Niven used her size and strength to push her opponent around whenever she could. Chelsea Green was playing cheerleader at ringside as she watched Niven and got incredibly upset when Michin began twerking at her. Michin was able to overcome Niven to get the win in a decent bout. Michin is one of WWE's most underrated performers, and it's been great to see her get more ring time in recent months. And the rumor that, I've got another rumor here that I'm going to drop here. I'm hearing that they want to do a rematch with Chelsea Green and Michin for that Women's United States Championship. I'm hearing a possibility of the next Saturday night's main event in 3 weeks. I mean,
San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio, yes.
All right.
And I'm also hearing a possibility that they may have a stipulation on that match. Now, take it with a grain of salt, read into it what you will, but that's just what I heard. And that's all I can really say about it. So this was a solid 2.5 star match, and no surprise with the outcome. I knew Michin would win, so there isn't anything else left to say here except MF. Let's get into our next moment here.
All right. Paul Heyman coming out, cuts a promo, interrupted by Solo Sikoa, Anthony Florio. If the tribal combat couldn't get any more crazier, Solo drops a nuke that really is going to send this thing into overdrive now.
Paul Heyman came out to speak about Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa on Raw Monday night. Before he could leave, Solo Sikoa came out. Surprisingly, he suggested Heyman hold the Ula Fala during his match with Roman Reigns to protect it. And of course, he also added a stipulation to that match. And he said, and I quote, that if I beat Roman, you're my wise man. You will be the wise man for the new bloodline. Well, okay. So we shall see what happens with that. So So fine segment. Heyman, always a good promo, always. I mean, he's never cut a bad promo. I mean, in all of his years, have we ever heard Paul Heyman cut a bad promo? No. So, and last night was no exception. So, and it definitely makes the bout a little more unpredictable. So, that match on Monday night can literally go either way. So,
Yeah.
So we'll wait and see how it goes. So, fine segment here, fine promo from Heyman as always, and a very interesting stipulation. Solo wins. Heyman has to leave Roman and his bloodline to go with Solo and his bloodline. And we all remember how badly Solo and his new bloodline, they damn near bullied the man. They bullied the man.
Yeah.
Put him through the announce table in Madison Square Garden last summer. So,
we all remember that. Yep.
Yes, we do. So
this is going to be nuts, Anthony, because think about this. You're talking about tribal combat, and you already know the rules. There are no rules. Anybody can get involved. There's a number of players that could get involved in this fight. You know that. Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, obviously both sets of the bloodlines. The OC bloodline with the Usos, Sami Zayn, and the new bloodline with the Gorillas of Destiny and Jacob Fatu. You know they're all going to get involved. Could there be another person that we're not talking about? Maybe Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Does he show up and get involved? What is his involvement in that? Cena's going to be there. What if Cena shows up in the Intuit Dome and interferes? You got so many variables in this matchup. This match could rival WrestleMania. That's how high stakes this match is. And the thing is, there's no world title on the line. This is for the right to be the leader of the bloodline, the Ulafala, which is the most sacred thing to a Samoan family. Like, we know the masks in Mexico is legacy. It's legendary. It's like tradition for their family and whatnot. The Ulafala, for any Samoan, it's legacy, it's tradition, it's ancestry, bloodline lore. We know all that. You win this match, that makes you the leader, the one that's going to be the provider for years to come. It doesn't get any bigger than that. I don't think I'd even need you didn't need a hype man here because the match itself hypes itself.
That's right.
I just can't wait for Monday night on Netflix. And guys, go out of your way to get Netflix. The cheapest and lowest tier is $7.99. That's the cheapest tier that they got. $7.99. Do what you got to do to get it. If you want to pay a little more, it is about $15. The highest end is, I believe, $23. But that's if you got 4K. But just to let you know, it will not be in 4K capabilities. I think it's like 1080p is their highest level. 720, 1080p. They're not doing a 4K level Raw. So just to give you that. And by the way, you're going to have to deal with commercials. Just like they did with the NFL, there will be commercials for Monday Night Raw. I'm sorry. Don't shoot the messenger. But that's what I heard. Everybody's dealing with commercials, including you, Florio. Good luck with that. Anyway. So, next up, DIY goes up against Motor City Machine Guns. Tag team titles on the line. And the fight gets thrown out in 11 minutes. Yeah. Fine match. I get it. Pretty Deadly looks like they have aligned themselves with has aligned themselves with DIY. Los Garza, they came out because they're a little hopping mad. They're a little hopping mad right now because Legado de Fantasma got jumped because they basically Pretty Deadly basically threw them under the bus saying, yeah, oh, by the way, just to let you know, Street Profits, it was the Gardas that actually jumped you guys. It was, and of course, Apollo Crews knows the whole truth. It wasn't them. It was DIY that jumped them. And even they were saying, yeah, it was them. They started it. They jumped you boys. They took you out. That's why they put themselves in that title predicament. So they stole your spots and then stole your titles. If I were you, I would go after them. So it's a he said thing, but Pretty Deadly has aligned themselves with DIY. Los Garzas, they came out saying, yeah, I remember you were the two that caused Street Profits to come after us. No. We're coming after you now. So Anthony Floyo, total chaos. Fight gets thrown out. It was pretty good before the finish. Nothing more to say. It's yours.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna have to be an NA on this one.
Agreed.
You know, Bullock and I, we talked about that during our SmackDown chat last night, and these are two teams who know how to put on an exciting match. So they had the crowd chanting, "This is awesome," without even breaking much of a sweat. Pretty Deadly showed up and distracted the Motor City Machine Guns so DIY could regain the upper hand. Angel and Berto chased Pretty Deadly around until their fight spread into the ring and caused the referee to throw out the match. This finish protects DIY and Motor City Machine Guns while setting up for another rematch in the future, but not having a clear winner is always going to be disappointing. No doubt about that. So it's going to have to be an NA. If I were to put a rating on it, it would have been around 3.25, 3.5, but yeah, it's an NA because it got thrown out. Damn shame because they were on their way to having a banger. So there isn't much more to say here. I do believe we move on to the other big championship match that went down on SmackDown last night.
The WWE Women's title on the line, as it was Nia Jax putting the gold on the line against Naomi, winner of the bout, in 19 minutes and 35 seconds, and still the WWE Women's Champion, Nia Jax. But wait, hold, there is a lot more that went down. So first things first, Tiffany Stratton came out. Looks like she was about to tease a Money in the Bank cash in. She throws the referee over the wall, and basically hits Naomi. That led to the Annihilator, the 1, 2, 3, and the win for Nia. So then everything looked good. So then at the next point, then it was like, you know what? She was controlling traffic. He tells Tiff, hey, Tiffany tells Nia, hey, why don't you go after why don't you just kind of take Bianca out of here? Let's get this done. So she goes after Naomi, and she was gonna go for another Annihilator. Tiffany whacks Nia in the back with the briefcase. Down she goes. Then Tiffany grabs Candice LeRae, try to go after her. She basically throws her into the ring post to take her out. She slides out of the ring. So Bianca then goes, hits the KOD. Tiffany grabs Bianca, throws her over the announce table, and like, you know what? Now's the time. I'm cashing in. She goes, she cashes in the Money in the Bank. The prettiest moonsault ever. 1, 2, 3. New champion. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner and new WWE Women's Champion, Tiffany Stratton. She wins the championship. History made. Unprecedented crowning. Anthony Florio, oh my God. Can you believe this? And one other thing, this was last minute. This actually happened out of nowhere. This was not supposed to happen. There was rewrites during the day that led to Tiffany cashing in and winning the gold.
Well, I'm hearing otherwise. I'm hearing that this cash-in was actually planned, has been actually planned for weeks, and that they wanted to, and that they wanted to save it specifically for this show, so it could have a big moment, and I certainly concur with that. And oh boy, Michael Bullock and I, oh boy, did we have a lot of fun with this. I mean, we were losing our minds during our SmackDown chat last night, and man alive. At first we thought, oh, long-term booking, a la Triple H. That's what him and the creative are known for. It was then when I saw Tiffany hit Nia with the briefcase, and I said that. Bully was like, "What? She hit Nia?" I'm like, "Yeah, she did." And then she threw Candice LeRae out, and then she finally cashes it in. Prettiest moonsault ever. Ryan Tran with the 1, 2, 3. A brand new WWE Women's Champion. A very deserving WWE Women's Champion in Tiffany Stratton. And the rocket has been strapped on her, and I believe she's going to take that ball and she's going to run with it, baby. I'm telling you. So, all right, let's get back to the business at hand here, which was before that. What was the time of the fall? Did you say it was 19 minutes, did you say?
Yeah, 1935.
I would have given it 4.5, but I'm going to bump it down to 4 to 4.25 because of the Tiffany interference at the end. But if I'm going to be honest with you, this was the fight of the night right here. I mean, 4 to 4.25 stars. This went from being a pretty down-the-middle match to being a fun bout that had the crowd invested. Naomi and Nia Jax worked hard to make this a physical encounter that made both of them look like tough competitors. Bianca Belair and Candice LeRae got into a fight at ringside that was broken up by Nia Jax. That gave Naomi a moment to recover, but then Tiffany's music hit and she ran to the ring with a second referee. But at the last second, she threw the referee over the barricade, blasted Naomi with the briefcase while the referee was looking away. And then Nia Jax pinned Naomi to retain the title. Tiffany got in the ring to celebrate with her and Candice. And then of course she attacked Nia and Candice before allowing Bianca to hit Nia with the KOD. And then Stratton throws Belair out of the ring over the announce table before cashing in, hits the PME, the prettiest moonsault ever, pinned Nia Jax to win the title. And Candice LeRae is one of those people who seems like a natural babyface, but WWE seems to like her more as a heel for some odd reason. And Naomi's jumping enziguri looked good, but the Samoan drop she hit was the most impressive spot. I mean, she got Nia up for a Samoan drop. I mean, that was another moment where Bullock and I lost our minds during our SmackDown chat last night. And but the big story out of all of this, new WWE Women's Champion, Tiffany Stratton. And contrary to what MF said, even though I'm not doubting it, I did hear about rewrites. I heard about all the major rewrites. I did hear about that. Yes. As far as what I was told, and this is also another the rumor dirt sheet that I got today was maybe the most loaded one I've ever seen. And Insider was told that Tiffany Stratton's Money in the Bank cash-in was planned for weeks and a closely guarded secret. It was specifically designed for SmackDown's expanded 3-hour format to kick off with a big moment, and not many people knew it was happening. So that's the story that's the story that I got on my end. But nonetheless, big moment there indeed. And a lot of people are saying, why did she hit Naomi? It's simple. She wanted to beat Nia for it. She didn't want to beat Naomi for it because I think she would have felt it would have cheapened it. You beat the champ herself. You beat Nia Jax. And do you know how much love you're going to get for that? Do you know how many haters Nia Jax has? Including myself and Michael Bullock? I mean, but anyways, like I said, the reason why she hit Naomi with the briefcase is because of the fact that she wanted to beat Nia Jax for the title, not Naomi. If she had cashed in on Naomi, it would have immediately cheapened it. It would have cheapened the victory, no doubt about it. You beat Nia Jax, that's pretty damn sweet. So, and the way that she did it, absolutely brilliant.
Oh yeah,
absolutely brilliant.
That she knew, like, that was as calculated of a Money in the Bank cash in as you can do. Plus, she took out both Candice LeRae and Bianca Belair. That opened the door for her to do it, because what was the one thing that was always someone was getting in her way every time she tried to cash in the Money in the Bank? Every time she came so close, and as a matter of fact, they counted this. She did 9 cash-in attempts.
Wow.
9. And
the last one, the one before this one, you heard her say to Candice LeRae, she said, and I quote, "I want to be champion." That's what she said.
Yeah.
And last night, she wanted to be champion, and now she is.
She is. And oh, by the way, to actually confirm the right on that, on what you were saying, earlier today, they actually showed posted a video from last night. She already got her side plates. Yes, they have the side plates already made.
I noticed. I saw it. Yeah.
So, yeah. So, that kind of confirms what Anthony Florio was saying about that, this thing was put into motion a few weeks ago.
Yep.
So, that confirms Anthony's notion. My notion was, yes, there were rewrites and everything else. And yeah, I thought it was a last second. I thought it was a last second call. That's why they called for her to win it. But hey, if they decided this was going to be the moment they were going to do it, hey, smart move. You know, not every time it needs to be on a PLE. Not every time it needs to be a major event. If you do, there's been cash-ins on Raws and SmackDowns before.
Of course.
Oh, don't even get me started with the most legendary cash-in attempt ever. That ended up being blowing up in Baron Corbin's face, Providence, Rhode Island.
You should know. You were there, and so was Bullock.
Yeah.
I would have been there, but I had work commitments beyond my control at that time. But, you know, it is what it is. But
yeah.
Otherwise, I would have been right there with you boys. But anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to take this one step further before I give it to you here. Out of all the women's cash-ins, I'm going to go on the record and say this was easily the greatest and best women's Money in the Bank cash-in I have ever seen. Easily. I
would say it was the best cash-in, but the lead-up and with all the attempts and everything else, I'm sorry, and I know I'm going to get some flack for this, but even one guy that I listen to on the Twitch and Discord, he actually is calling it the worst Money in the Bank cash-in of all time. That her,
can't please everybody.
No. But he's saying, what this guy was saying was that he's happy that the cash-in happened, and he's saying that he's happy that she did it and won it, but with everything leading to the cash-in, he thought was horrible. And actually criticized Triple H and the brass, saying when it comes to the women Money in the Bank, that they don't know how to hit or how to do the cash-ins right.
Well, But the reason why I call it the most epic of all the women's cash-ins, did you hear that crowd? Did you hear that crowd?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It was almost as if the Phoenix Suns or the Phoenix Mercury won the championship in that building.
Oh yeah.
And
It was perfect.
And you know what?
It was exactly what they wanted. And you know the fans have been on the side of Tiffany. People wanted Tiffany to do it. They were begging for her to cash it in.
And not only was it the big crowd pop, obviously, but what else? And there was one other thing that put it over the top: Lillian Garcia.
Yes.
Did you hear the tone? Did you hear that excited tone in her voice?
Yeah. Do you know how long it's been for her to call a new WWE Women's Champion, and especially a Money in the Bank cash-in? She hasn't been doing that for years. So imagine her excitement to get that.
Oh yeah, and she was going crazy. And a lot of things on her Instagram, on Lillian's Instagram, so and her social media. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, the match with Naomi and Nia, easily the fight of the night. That was 4 to 4.25 stars. It would have been 4.5 if not for the interference, but still 4 to 4.25 stars. Naomi brings out the best in Nia Jax. That's all there is to say there. And for Tiffany, well deserved. I am beyond excited to see what WWE is going to be like, what SmackDown is going to be like with Tiffany Stratton as the face of the women's division. And I'm excited for that young lady, and she's got a very bright future ahead of her. She could definitely make a run for female superstar of the year. She's already the front runner right now, obviously. So congratulations to her. Well deserved. Best and most epic women's cash-in ever. Hot crowd. Lillian's excitement in the announcement. What else do I have to say? 4 to 4.25 fight of the night, and the best cash-in women's wise I've ever seen. So I don't know what else there is to say. And how do we even move on from that, MF? How?
There's only one match left, and it's the 6-man tag team fight.
Oh, yeah.
The Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and Tama Tonga. They went up against the Usos and Sammy Uso. And the winner of the bout, in 18 minutes and 40 seconds, the New Bloodline wins the match. Good main event, good solid fight, another 4-star bout. But it was good because this gives Solo a big win heading into the epic matchup on Monday night. You know, with Bloodline rules, the Ula Fala, and the right to be called the Tribal Chief on the line on Monday night at the Intuit Dome in LA. So, solid main event. Nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, another 4-star bout as I give it to you. Bloodline wins in 1840.
I'm going to meet you halfway. I'm going to give it about 3.5 to 4. This match was given a lot of time. And while that would usually be a good thing with talented competitors like this, it sometimes felt as if they were struggling to fill time. The number of commercial breaks being higher than usual certainly did not help the pacing. Most of the action we saw was well executed, but it really started to drag on after a little while. Part of the problem might be that we have seen all of these men fight so many times at this point. Now I got to be honest here. I got to throw in my constructive criticism here. Well, not really constructive criticism, but something that I would have done a little bit differently. This was fine for what it was. But if I'm going to be honest with you, MF, I don't know how you're going to feel about this. I think having the women's title match as the main event would have been a better ending to this show. The women's title match, and especially the cash in with Tiffany, that should have closed the show last night. Just my opinion. But nonetheless, and another thing about this match, the entrances and a commercial break took almost 10 minutes. And then the next break was only a couple of minutes later. but the reasoning behind it was worth it more than anything else. I can honestly say maybe the best Yeet entrance I have ever seen. I mean, the fans were singing along to Jey Uso's theme song. They were yeeting. Hell, Lillian Garcia was even yeeting. I mean, man alive. And oh yes, Michael Bullock and I we had some big fun with this. And man, oh man, oh man. But I remember earlier in the show when I said about another possible big name moving to SmackDown. Well, that name is Sami Zayn, MF. Just trying to find the note that I found on this. PW Insider once again followed up on it by noting Sami Zayn is also expected to move over to SmackDown, putting him on the same brand as Kevin Owens. Hoo-hoo, if that happens. With KO's psycho character right now, the NXT Kevin Owens. Oh, him and Sammy, if they cross paths, oh boy. Oh boy. That's all I can say on that. So 3.5 to 4. Fine for what it was, like I said, MF. But if I'm going to be honest, the women's title and Tiffany's cash-in, that should have been the real main event last night.
I'll give you that. Like I said, I gave you my thoughts on it. I'm giving it the 4. I'm not gonna go beyond that. So with that said, Anthony Florio, yeah, it's all yours, man. Give me your thoughts on the overall review.
Okay. Hey, I'll tell you what, MF. Great way to start off the 3-hour era of Friday Night SmackDown. The first SmackDown of the year was also the first 3-hour episode to air, and it's safe to say WWE is not using now. There is a small bit of constructive criticism. First SmackDown of the year was also the first 3-hour episode to air, and it's safe to say WWE is not using all that time as effectively as it could. The show only featured 5 matches, and one of them felt like it lasted a lot longer than it needed to. So the number of commercials in it felt lopsided. Now then, on the plus side, most of what we saw last night was solid in-ring work. Andrade and Shinsuke Nakamura always work well together. The tag team title bout, despite the clunky finish, was fun. And Naomi and Nia Jax put on a great performance. However, Tiffany Stratton finally cashing in to win the WWE Women's Championship was the best moment of the night. The crowd erupted in applause as she turned on the champion and redeemed her title shot. Tiffy time is here, and it ain't going nowhere. If WWE wants to have both Raw and SmackDown running around 3 hours, then it's going to need to find more ways to fill that time. But despite all that, I'm going to give this show in excess of 7.5 to 8 out of 10. Very good show. Very good start to the 3-hour era of Friday Night SmackDown. Tiffany Stratton, far and away the main talking point of this show, and rightly so. So not much more to say on that. So 7.5 to 8 out of 10. Not much more to say except take us home, MF.
Yeah, 7.5 is my rating as well. I thought they did a really good job with it. Very solid show. Very pleased with everything that went down. That's it. We're out of here. Monday night, Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio. Back to the 3-hour format. So you know what that means, knuckleheads. We're back to 11 p.m. after Raw goes off the air. And oh, by the way, it's on Netflix. Intuit Dome, Los Angeles, California, the City of Angels. It's about to get insane. More than anything else. Go ahead.
And here's the thing. I know I initially said I wanted to make it all about Raw as Netflix, and we will. But I do believe we should address the college football playoff semifinals since they start on Thursday, and
okay.
And I don't believe we have a show around that before then. So
okay.
So we'll do that. And then I'll also do a quick Tony's take on the first TNA Impact of 2025. So some big developments came out of that, some big time developments for the Genesis pay-per-view. So I'll let you know what that is, what all that is, come Monday night. Loaded show. Oh yeah, we're loading it up, baby. We're coming guns blazing, and that's all there is to say on that.
All right. And with that said, we're out of here. So for Anthony Flair, I'm Michael Fletcher. Thanks so long, everybody. We'll see you all on Monday.
Goodbye.